Well, hello, boys and girls. We're going to go over some of the important things we'll be hitting today during class. So our target skill for today is I can see and show the differences in points of view of characters. Now, when we're talking about the point of view, there are different ways of looking at it as well as the different perspectives. So those are two things that go together to help us identify the differences in points of view of the characters. You have to see who's telling the story, which would be the point of view, and then also you have to look into how they're feeling and things of that sort if it's told from different perspectives. So we're going to look at that a little bit more today. Now, last year, I know that you can already tell me, I know who's telling this story, Mrs. Denning. Well, now we're taking it a step up. And our goal here is to identify and show how we know that there are differences in points of view of the characters, okay? Now, next year, it's going to get more difficult. So you're going to have to look at your own point of view of things compared to the narrator, the person that's telling the story, or from the character. Whoever is telling the story, it might not be the narrator, it might be the actual character. All right, here we go. So, review from yesterday. We've talked a little bit about this yesterday, and we're just going to kind of go over quickly. So the first person point of view, who's telling the story? Well, a character is telling the story. That's the first person point of view. You will see words like I, me, my, us, and we. Like, my best friend was going to have a birthday party tomorrow, and I couldn't wait. We were going to have so much fun. My mom was going to take me shopping so that I could buy her a present. All right, so this was definitely a great example of first person point of view. Now, for third person point of view, you won't see I, me, us, or we. You're going to see he, she, them. So, Paula stood alone on the playground. She did not know anyone at this new school. She felt so alone as she watched the other children play. Then a girl with curly brown hair came up to her and smiled. Now that is third person. If I wanted to make it even harder, I could even try to change it to a different point of view. But right now, we're just reviewing what we've talked about so far up to this point. So here's an example of one of those that we did yesterday. So we would highlight any of the clues, and then we would identify, is this first person or is this third person? So when I get home from school, I always have a snack and watch my favorite TV show. However, when my mom gets home, it's time to get my homework done. I bet a lot of you can relate to that too. All right, so now you are going to be working with your group. I'm going to set you up into Google Groups, and you're just going to read these together and then just talk about whether it's first person or third person point of view. Just want you to have a chat, talk about it a little bit. And I want you to highlight the clues. So get your highlighter out and make sure. So if I would look at it this way, let me go over here. There we go. I need to put this away. So when I get to the next page, I'm going to be able to highlight and move things. So here we go. So the kids will be grouped into other groups heterogeneously, and they would just take turns modeling, reading, and discussing things with each other. So, for example, these are the tools that they would have down beneath here. So they would have to highlight. Okay, so I see we, I see I see my and I. Okay, that tells me, first person. So this should not take more than just a few seconds here. But what I can do when it's Google Classroom, you can jump from each little breakout room to make sure everybody is where they need to be. And then right here, the wind was blowing so hard, it made the trees bend and break because of its force. Okay, so the kiddos, again, they're going to highlight and they're going to identify that it would be third person. Okay, so the nice thing about the teacher then is I can actually see what Courtney did at any point. And if I see that she's not getting it, I've got the evidence right there. And if I see that she does get it, okay, then we can move past this really quickly. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next thing. So once I pull them back and we look over here, I'd say, okay, let's see. What have we come up with? And I should see a whole bunch of things highlighted because we talked about highlighting, right? Yes, Mrs. Denning. That's right. So we determined that, yes, it is first person point of view here. Correct. What can you tell me, Jack? For the second story where it says the wind was blowing so hard, what do you think? Excellent work. That is correct. It is third person point of view. Can you give me any clues of how you knew that? Oh, I love that. What about you, Luther? Okay, well, let's highlight together. So you would highlight anything that says he, she, they, them. So let's look. The wind was blowing so hard. What is the wind? It says it made trees bend and break. So the wind is in it. It's first place, it's a thing. Okay, it made the trees bend and break because of its force. The birds and small animals all hid for cover. They, finally, I see it. So they and them, those are in the same category. So it is definitely not first person because we would see my, I, and we. Now, a nice thing too, when they were working in their groups, I could listen in and state, this doesn't seem quite right. Let's think about it a different way. Okay. Let's make this a little bit smaller here. All right. Okay, so the next one is, review practice, you do. Think, pair, and share. So I grouped them into pairs this time. So once they did bigger groups, maybe groups of 5, now we're down to 2. And this time I'm going to set it up so that it is, homogeneous groups, kiddos that can work at the same pace. Okay, and then when we're done going over, when they've done this, I can actually see their work, just like I showed you before, and pull it up and be able to see, yes, so-and-so gets it. No, so-and-so does not get it. And then I know that those kiddos are going to stay with me when I break the students up and say, okay, it's time for you to go read on Zoom or read on, Tumble Books or on Epic Books. That would be great. So anyway, that's about it here. Yep, I'm waiting for Mrs. Denning there. Courtney's not there yet. And okay, so once we've done that, now it's all on their own. So I break them into individual groups. They'd answer this, but I would also take time to read these because I know some students need to have audible, they need to hear it, not just see it. And some of the students here are having a hard time comprehending and they need extra time. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. They don't have to type words out. They just have to circle when they get theirs. And I'm giving them the example here where they can actually choose. I, me, my, us, we, so they can highlight and then choose. Okay, and then we move on. Okay, perspective. What do you see? So the kiddos will look at this and we'll talk about it in just a moment. So I'll send that out. And so for my point of view, I'd see, ooh, okay, so this is what a kiddo sees. And I could say, that looks like an old man. What? That looks like a princess. She's got some, I don't know what happened to her bottom lip, but she looks like she's a princess there. Wait a minute, that looked like a duck to me, but now this looks like a rabbit. That's a different perspective. Now that it's turned this way, it looks totally different to me. And if I turn this upside down, that's what I see. Wow, this looks like a lovely candlestick. No, you think it's two people facing each other. I would have never seen that. So anyway, we'll have that conversation. All right. I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, so once the students have had time to look at their own things here and to look at those pictures, maybe they, because of the fact that they might have no idea what to do there, I might have them jump into groups and just be like, I don't know what that is, and talk about it that way. Then we would pull them together. We do this. We would talk about, again, different perspectives based on how things look. Everybody has their own point of view and their own perspectives of how things happen. So then we're going to look from Cinderella's stepmother's perspective, and we're going to explain how she views Cinderella. So they would click on this link with me. We do this together, and it would take us, they actually do have the link. So when they were there, they'd be able to click on it. It would take them there. Well, for me, it's not, but it would take them there. And then we would talk about, what actions does she do? What words does she say? How do you know that she seems like she just really views Cinderella as annoying and just kind of sees her as not very with it. Like maybe she's a little bit cuckoo. Okay, so anyway, stepmother's thoughts. And also, talking about what they look like. What do they do with their facial features? Like she's rolling her eyes there. That doesn't look very nice. Okay, so next then, okay, the students know they can respond by typing, recording, or by video. So those are differentiation choices. So they would do this. Some of them could be working with me, while others may choose to work on their own in their own groups. I could say, okay, those of you that would like to work with Mrs. Dunning to finish this, you can work with me. And the rest of them can do this on their own. And again, I'll be able to see their work. And then finally, we will watch this video that is a short on, let's see, it is one of my videos that I have saved on YouTube. And it has the story of Toy Story 3. And there, Toy Story 3. Yeah, Toy Story 3, there it is. The perspectives here. So they watch this perspective here really quickly. Not that, but we have to wait until it skips. Okay. So anyway, we'd watch that. And then what they would do is they would show me, Mom felt blank. I know because what did she do? What are her actions? What are her thoughts? What were her words? Well, Woody felt blank. I know this because what did he do? So that's definitely going to show me that they get perspective. So, and that's basically it. And then for, more of a challenge, I plan on having the kiddos take some parts of their stories and writing it from here's what I have here for the extra things here. Okay. Yes. Okay. So choose a book we've read in class. Write what others might be thinking in the story, not just the main character. So write down the story and what the character might say from their perspective. So if I read a story about Cinderella, I could write it from the Bluebird's point of view. Okay, so Cinderella. This is the story. I love to fly around and help Cinderella clean. Then I'd have to guess, well, it must be a bird, but I'd have to okay it. That would be something that would stretch their minds. That's it.